Hello, everybody. How you doing? Good to see you guys. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for being here. I'm going to say some hellos, but I'm going to keep it brief, and I'm going to keep this live as short as possible, so that more can watch it on replay. Um, you guys, if anybody wants to use any of this content, I give you permission as long as you include a link back and credits. Period. That's all I ever asked for anyway, but I still see my stuff on other people's channels just, clipped and added in their stuff. It's just really annoying. It's lazy. Please don't be lazy. I share, but share nicely. Anyway, just wanted to say that because I saw another one yesterday and I was like, really? I made that. So anyway, um, hello, Liard. How you doing? The internet FBI, is it? I can't pronounce that. How you doing? Ya's World. Hello, hello. Hi, Suzanne. Hey, Chaos Queen, sorry. Hey, Purple Phoenix. Hi, Tat Jack. Of the Light, hello. Good to see you. Neat Noodle, hi. Thank you so much for modding for me. I appreciate you. Savannah, hi. Let's see. Cinnamon, hot. How are you doing? Music City Mom, hi. Good to see you. Pointer Lover, hey, how are you? The Missing with Manda, do you have a channel? If you have a channel, let me know. I'll drop your link. If anybody else has a channel, let me know. I'm happy to drop your link too. Hey, Vapor. Hey, Sue Bug. Hey, Charlie Girl. Hey, Peppermint Mocha. Hi. Okay, I'll say hi to people if I see new names that I don't remember saying hello to. Corey Carroll, hello. As I'm going along here. And hello, sexy wild thing, Carol freaking Claus. How are you doing? Hi, Calamity. All right, I'm going to just kind of jump into this here. Thank you again for being here. Please hit the like button for me. I appreciate that so much. That does help me. I didn't do lives for almost 2 months because we've been out of our house due to major renovations that had to be done. So I haven't really been able to do lives, but I'm getting back into it. I'm going to be putting out a lot of content. We've got the Idaho 4 case that's heating up. I think it's going to be going to trial real soon. Lots of things going on. A new document hit today, as a matter of fact. I haven't had time to look at it. Okay. So, as you know, Stacey Wondra has been making his rounds all over YouTube. So, if you have seen all of his interviews, put a 1. If you have seen none of his interviews, put a 2. If you've seen maybe a couple, 2 or 3, you can put a 3. Just so that I have an idea of how familiar you guys are with them. So if you've already seen every one of them, put a 1. If you've seen none of them, put a 2. Or other, put a 3. Okay. Lots of 1s and lots of 2s. Pretty mixed. But some have seen some of them. Okay. It's been pretty crazy, hasn't it? The things that he has said and his stories changing. Well, after his 3rd interview, I saw somebody put a comment in a chat on, I think it was his 3rd interview, and said, hey, has anybody, put together, a comparison of things that he said? And he still had 2 more interviews after that. And when I saw that he scheduled the one with Dolly a week after, I was like, you know what? I'm going to start taking notes. And I took notes on the interviews, but I didn't really put much together until his one on the 21st, which was the wild one. And then Purple did a live the other night, last night, I think. I've slept since then, where she went over some of the inconsistencies as well. And I thought I would literally make a chart. I have columns for each channel, the whole timeline from top to bottom, and then I just wrote in what he said happened at what time during the entire day on July 27th. Okay? So it's really sloppy. Like, if I had more time, I could have put it into, an Excel spreadsheet. I may still do that. I will probably do that, but it'll take me a couple of days to have time to do that because we're moving back into our home day after tomorrow, and I'm so excited. So I am going to be busy with that. But, all right. So I'm going to pull up each channel as I'm going along here. The very first interview that he did was on Crime Lines and Lies with Brooks. He did 3 days of interviews there. And it was pretty crazy. Let me move this over. One moment. Okay. So I'm going to pull up her channel just so that you guys can see Crime Lines and Lies. Okay. One second. Okay. Perfect. All right. Okay, so this is Brooke's channel. She had 3 interviews with him, 3 days in a row. So let's go to live. And I think she had a mark too, didn't she? So is this one, and this one. Part 1, part 2, part 3. All right, so I don't think I'm going to have to play much of anybody's content. I don't like to do that anyway. But my chart is pretty organized. What I'm going to do is go through. There may be a couple clips here and there that I want to play. He was at his most comfortable, I noticed, with Brooks until right at the end of the 3rd one. And he started getting really irritated and a bit rude and ended up leaving. Get my mouse back over here. There we go. So I can keep up with chat while we're going. Hey, Miss DC. How are you doing? Hi, True Crime with Eve. Hello. Hello, hello. Welcome. Let's see. All right. So there was January 8th, 9th, and 10th on Brooke's channel. On here, the timeline that he gave changed from the first to the second to the 3rd interview. And you would think, if you're just telling the truth and just telling your story, and especially if you want to clear your name, you should be really careful with what you're saying. Oh, thank you. Thank you very much, Eve. I appreciate that. I have a screenshot of it, but I didn't want to play any of it without permission. So thank you so much. I am doing well. Thank you. Yeah, we all love Michael. We want Michael to come home. I want to say I hate giving this guy, Stacy, any attention, honestly, just because it just feels weird. But every bit of information that we get could help, Yes, true, Kelly. You should always ask for a lawyer before you talk to police. However, did he not say that his lawyer was with him during his interrogations? And he still ended up saying what he said? All right, so in interview 1, he said that when they got up in the morning, they ate, had coffee, and watched TV and movies all morning. I'm not going to focus too much on the TV thing because, frankly, I think it may be just pretty much irrelevant. But I am going to just note that he, on his very first interview, where he was the most comfortable, he said they watched movies and TV. He named a couple of their favorite TV shows, The Good Doctor and another one. And he was pretty comfortable. He was living in a motel. And so he said all that morning, they just hung around. That he got a taxi call at 11. He didn't say who called or how he got that taxi call. So then he said from between 12:30 and 1, he left in the Lexus. He said he drove to Boise to do that ride to the, I think he said he went to Ontario to pick up the client and then took them to Boise. While he was in Boise, he hung out with some guy named Dave for a few hours, and that he got back. He said when she asked him, what time did you get back home? He said 3, 3:30, 4. That was his answer. And he said that Sarah and Brandon were already there. 3, 3:30, or 4. How could they be there? I've wondered what is up with that, because maybe I don't even have it in here, but there's a screenshot. I don't have it in this folder. There's a screenshot of a post of a photo of Adrian in front of an Applebee's in Nampa at 4:47 p.m. So that's kind of weird that he said he was back 3:30 to 4, so 3 to 4, and that they were already back. He was asked about that again at a later interview, kind of pressed on it, like, are you sure? And he said he was absolutely certain that they were back when he got back. But he changed his times on a lot of stuff here. So then he said that between 5:30 and 6, they left with Sarah driving, him and Brandon in the red truck. He said at 6, see, in this interview, he never mentions this splash pad, okay? The first interview, he did not mention the splash pad at all at 1-ish, never mentioned it. In this one, he says at 6 to 6:15, he was at 8th in Arizona. They pulled over to put power steering fluid in the truck. Then he says they were gone for 4 to 5 hours. And then he said during that time, though, when they got to Brandon's house, he said, and this is the story that changed a lot, and that's why I think it's very significant. He said that Brandon knew the garage code, and he brought laundry with him in a duffel bag, and that he knew the garage code. He wasn't supposed to be at his mom's house, so they went through the garage, and that Sarah went in with him. That he went in and put some laundry on, or washed his clothes, is what he said, and changed into new clothes, and that they were back out in 15 minutes. So from there, in this interview, first interview, there was no other information as far as the time given for what time they got back to the house after going to Brandon's mom's in Kuna. So the very next day, the next morning, he was pretty sick, coughing a lot. I mean, this guy farted and coughed so much on his interviews, it was ridiculous. Honestly, it was really sorry, but I just thought that was pretty gross. So the next morning, he was obviously in a new location, and he was kind of asked. He didn't really want to talk about it, but he had been kicked out of the motel, and now he was at a shelter. This interview, the only two things that he mentioned in this interview was this one. He said he was at the splash pad from 1 to 1:10 for 25 seconds. The spitting, yes, purple, oh my God. My ex dipped Copenhagen. I loved the smell of it, but I would not kiss him when he was doing that. It was like fire, you know? Ugh, belching, right? Ugh. I can't believe nobody said a word when he farted, at least twice that I heard of. It was clearly like his little thing lit up. You could see that was him. Oh my God. Okay, so the first interview was January 8th. This one is January 9th. He said in this interview, he stopped at the splash pad at 1:10 for 25 seconds. In this interview, he said that they got back to the house between 9 and 10 p.m. So now let's move to the third interview with Brooks, and that was January 10th. So it was 3 days in a row that he was with Brooks. So in this interview, he mentions the child that he saw. He said that the child was, quote, 5, 6, 7 houses down, and he looked like he was about 7 or 8 years old. Yeah, it didn't make any sense, Subag, because Sarah, remember, she had just started her another side gig, her laundry business. Why wouldn't he be washing? He did say that they had a washing machine, washer and dryer. So very weird. I don't get a good feeling at all about that duffel bag. Okay, so actually, he said the child was 5, 6, or 7, and then the house that he saw him at was in the sidewalk in front of the house, about 6 or 7 houses down. I was reading my own writing wrong. Okay, Sergeant, tell her I said hi. Okay, so that was the only new thing in this interview that he brought up. I know, that's what I was thinking, Cinnamon, because when my little girl's playing down the road, she's coming back and forth between houses. They are about 6 houses away, and I can't really tell that that's her from that far away till she gets a couple more houses closer. You know what I mean? I'm good, Sergeant Friday. How are you? Sorry if I missed anything in chat. I'm trying to read and watch chat. So, okay, so January 8th, 9th, and 10th were his first 3 interviews. The comment about the child, he said that the child was on the sidewalk in front of a neighbor's house, and he could not tell anything about them as far as clothing, nothing, right? That's going to change, though. 8 days later, he went on Dolly's. Oh, let me pull this up real quick. Which one is hers? I don't know why it always pulls up on my other monitor. This was him on Brooks. And I think that Brooks did a really good job with this interview. I could see, I was picking up what she was putting down. You know what I'm saying? She did a really good job. And I couldn't believe that she got him to come back time after time. Real impressive. Okay, then this next interview was on Dolly's. This is him on Dolly's, January 8th. And I'm sorry, if I go full screen, my microphone gets crackly, so let me try that. Okay, so on this interview, once I read these, I have 2 more columns. Once I read these, then I'm going to go back and just point out, I have all of the discrepancies highlighted and circled. So I'm going to read all those again, just across. So you'll see what I'm going to be doing in just a moment. On January 18th, he said that he left at 1. He didn't say anything about the morning time. He just said that at this time of the interview, Dolly had him go back once and say a couple of things, but it was pretty consistent with what he had said on Brooks. So I only wrote down inconsistencies, you know what I mean? Things that changed, so that I wouldn't get all confused myself or confuse anybody else. Hello, Lady V. Mwah, how are you doing? Okay. So this interview, he said he left at 1. He said that Sarah, Brandon, and Adrian were already gone. This one, he said that the child was 8, 9, or 10 years old, dark hair, and this time the child was playing in a yard, not the sidewalk. Pretty weird. How would you even know from that far away? Have you seen how far away 7 houses is on a block? That's almost the entire block. That is 3/4 of a block. So anyway, in this one, he completely contradicts himself between the 18th and the 21st. I put a big star by this one. He says that they were at, hold on. Okay, he said he went on the taxi ride and that he was back. This one changed. He said 4 to 4:30, and that when he got back, Sarah, Brandon, and Andrew were at the house. He said that. But Sarah and Brandon say that they left Adrian in Nampa. But he's saying that he was there. All right, so this one, he says that they left and that they pulled over at 5:15 at 8th and Arizona. And then right after he said that, he changed it to 5:40. So he went from 5:15 to 5:40. Crazy. Within just a few seconds, he changed it. Maybe 30 seconds. Did I say Andrew? I meant Adrian. Sorry. Okay. He said that then he says right after that, he says that they left at 5:30. Then he said, well, we may have left 6:15 to 6:30 at the latest. Like, what time is it, bro? Really? Now, this is the mention of the duffel bag. The first mention of the duffel bag was on Dolly's on January 18th. He said Brandon had a duffel bag, that it was tiny, and then he offered information that I thought was bizarre. And I was like, why would you even add that? He said the duffel bag was tiny. I'm actually going to find the exact quote. That's not on Dolly. Here it is. He said, Brandon had his duffel bag full of clothes, but it wasn't a large bag, huge bag. It was tiny. Not near big enough to put a human in at all. Are you serious, bro? You really said that? It's disgusting. Just out of the blue, he wasn't asked. He felt for some reason that he needed to volunteer that this duffel bag was tiny, that you couldn't fit a human in it. And I'm sorry, but 5-year-olds are very small. My goodness. Okay, so he says in this interview that Sarah did not go into Brandon's mom's house. Sarah did not go into Brandon's mom's house. But remember, his first interview, he said that they went in together. He stayed out and hooked up the car. Hey, Grizzly. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so in this one, he said that they were in there for 15 minutes. That was it, 15 minutes. He said that the put his clothes in the wash and left them there to just run. Don't know what he was doing for 15 minutes. He could have just dropped out the laundry and come back out and helped him with the car. But anyway, hey, Shay, welcome back, honey. All right, so this one, he says that they got home 9 to 9:30. In this one, he said that Sarah and Brandon went and searched for Michael for 1 hour. Now we're going to move on to the interview with Justin. Justin had his friend Josh on, and So Justin's part of the interview, and I do want to say Dolly did a really good job on that interview as well. I was really impressed. It was a legit interview. I was really impressed by it. Okay, so Justin's part of the interview was pretty chill. You know, he was getting information, but he wasn't pushing him at all. And then at 51 minutes into the interview, in case you're wondering when the lab comes on, Josh with the lab comes on at 51 minutes in his interview. I didn't even pull up Dolly's channel. I am going to put these links. I know you probably already know everybody's channel, but just in case. There's Dolly Vision. And then this is Justin's. All right. So when he come on, shit hit the fan. It was wild. I loved it. Josh wasn't playing around. And Stacy's demeanor changed. Sally Mae is back. What do you mean? Yes, I love Josh's questions and statements as well. Very much. He was not holding back at all. At all. Okay. So in this interview, he says that Sarah, Brandon, and Adrian left at 10:30 a.m. He said that, oh, and Eve, I know that your interview was actually January 17th, but I didn't put it on the column because yours was, in my opinion, like a review interview of things that he had said on the 8th, 9th, and 10th, right? You kind of just went over those things with him. And so I didn't put it in here because there was nothing new. You just went over what was already on those 3. So I didn't want to add confusion in my head when I made my chart. So just so you know why I didn't put it in here, but I'll talk about yours as well, Eve, just so you know. Okay. So he said that they left at 10:30, that Sarah called him at 11 because she's insecure. Hey, Shay, can you figure out what's going on with Truth Finder? I thought that was Willie. I don't know what's going on. Okay. He says in this one, he said that he was at the splash pad at 1:30. In this interview, he adds more information to that. He said that law enforcement had told him that they had a video of him at the splash pad, time-stamped 1:30. So why did he not mention that on any of the other 4 interviews? You know, he said, just to recap, he'd said 1 to 1:10 for 25 seconds. Then he said splash pad. Let me find the other one here. Splash pad for 5 minutes. Now he says 1:30 for 5 minutes. And that there's actually a video of him that law enforcement showed him. And there's another video that he mentions as well. And I was like, what? So wait till you hear this. Do you remember how in the first interview he said that he couldn't really see the child down the street? Yes, please. If you guys have channels or other people in here have channels and you mods want to drop them, that would be great. If you could drop these channels that I'm mentioning as well, Crime Line and Lies, and Dolly, Justin for All, and Crime Time with Eve, I would greatly appreciate it. Thank you so much. I know that's a lot, but I can do it later if you want. In this one, this stuck out to me because he said in the first interview, The child was way down there, couldn't even make out for sure if it was even a boy or a girl, right? That's what he said in the first one. So, but in this one, he described them again with the dark hair, and then he said the child was wearing shorts and a bright shirt. Shorts and a bright shirt. Shorts and a bright shirt. You don't say. I'm just saying. He was wearing black boxer briefs, which actually I think Eve's the one that put out that it was actually, were they blue or something with green stitching? But it was a bright blue Minecraft shirt and shorts. Briefs would look like shorts. I just thought that was a little weird that he got very specific on his 5th interview about what this child looked like. So in this one, he didn't offer any opinion as far as age. He went from 6 or 7 to 8, 9, and 10. In this one, his story about Dave changed as well. In the first interview, he said he'd spent hours with him. In this one, he said he saw Dave for 15, 20, maybe 30 minutes tops. There was also something really weird with where he went after that. And I may reference Eve's video on the A&W issue, because in her video, I'll go into that a little more, she brought something really strange. The A&W that he was actually at, based on his photo, which is right here. I may have to totally go to her live on this one. See that yellow brick behind him? When I go further, I'll explain this more, but he said he stopped at the A&W in Ontario. But Eve pulled up the A&W in Ontario and Fruitland, and neither one of them have this. They have a completely different brick. Completely different brick. The one in Payette has this brick. Guess where this location is? Is Eve still in here? I'm going to play what she put on her live, and I was quite shocked. She said that this is across the street from the Albertsons that Brandi worked at. He was there, according to the timestamp, at 3:37 p.m. No, it was right next to the building. He said he was in the drive-thru, so this would have been building right beside the building. This was a screenshot, I believe, he sent to Eve, or was it to Brooks? Now I don't remember. I don't know what this photo is up here, but it looks like Sarah sitting on the floor. I don't know. Pretty weird. I'm going to show you guys a couple of things that I did with these photos as well when I get to that. Okay. Get back to my notes here. So the A&W thing is weird because he added that in again on the last interview that he's done, and now he's not giving any more interviews, is what they're saying. Yeah, for sure, because he apparently went there twice in one day, Candace. He says he went there twice on the 27th, but that picture doesn't match the actual store. Okay, so then he says In addition to the video that law enforcement has of him, they showed him at 1:30 at the splash pad for 5 minutes, that they also showed him a video of him putting the power steering fluid in his truck at 8th in Arizona. However, interestingly enough, you guys, he had no timestamp to offer. That would be my very first question. If you have me parked near where a child went missing, I'm gonna want to know what time, for one main reason. That'll trigger some memories for me. You know what I mean? Then I can look at my phone, like, did I send a text around that time? What was I doing? You know, help trigger your memories if you can't remember. I don't believe this for a minute. I'm pretty sure that they would have put that video out and that he would damn well know the timestamp. Okay, the photo with just the foot, is that all? Yeah, that was all. That's all that's in that photo. Pull it back up. It says Wednesday, July 28th. You can see shoes. There's an arm, but it's not her arm because this arm's way over here. And then this is, I think, his knees, and I'm being nice. So it looks like she's changing shoes in this photo. But there's another person over here that is not this person. So there's 3 people in the room. I have to dig into this photo a little more, huh? There's some sort of a bag over here. There's a bag here. Yeah, she was taking off or putting on those shoes. Pretty weird. And then he just happens to take a selfie at 3:37. And this photo, Sarah's wearing this Adidas knit hat in later photos. And I don't know why somebody would suddenly just need to screenshot their Google on that day. Tiny foot. Wait, what? You see a tiny foot? Savannah, where? Somebody see a little tiny foot in here somewhere? This is a left leg going into that shoe. I see a right leg going into this shoe. Where do you see? You mean like a child's foot is what I'm asking? This is a hand, a left arm. I don't see anything else. Thank you guys for dropping the links for me. Okay, so continuing here. He said that law enforcement had shown him the video of him putting power steering fluid in his truck with the hood up right there at 8th in Arizona. That's about 200 feet from Monkey's home. Like right there, just 1, 2, 3 houses. I literally got sick to my stomach when I heard him say that, because I know that can't, I don't believe it for a minute. They would have told him when. Oh, man. Okay. Now he says in this video, in this interview, that they left 6 to 6:30. 6:30. And then he changed it during this interview to 6:30 to 7. And then he repeated that a couple more times, 6:30 to 7. Michael went missing between 6:40 and 7. This time he says that When they got to Brandon's mom's house, they were there for 30 minutes. And this time he says that the duffel bag was medium duffel bag. So now there was a photo. I think Eve had helped him in some way with getting to these photos. I'm not really sure if I understand that correctly. So this photo that I just showed you, and then let's see which way I have to go. Where's that? This one. So if you look at this, it says July 27th, 2021, 9:56 p.m. Taken with an iPhone in Eagle, Idaho. GPS dropped there. With why did he need to pin drop his location with a photo at 9:56 p.m. on the night that Michael went missing? And that was this photo. He said that Brandon needed a air compressor part or something, and it was this photo that's timestamped 9:56. However, he doesn't show the same information for these photos, just this one. So let me show you guys real quick. Well, I'm going to come back to this in just a moment, show you what I did with my photos to show you don't trust those timestamps. Okay, so in this one, when asked what time he got home, he said, he told him, pull up this map he said, pull this up right here, the GPS coordinates, and look at the time. He said that they were 25 minutes from home at this point, and that would put them at home at 10:15. But when you actually pull up the map and look at it, where he said he was, somewhere around here, it showed it was actually 50 minutes. So that was pretty weird. That GPS was telling me from Eagle, Idaho to Payette, which is the way that they went, was 50 minutes. And I have it, I'll be pulling that up on the actual map so you can see it. Round trip, the way that he said they went and back should have been 2 hours and 23 minutes. And with them there at the house, max 30 minutes, they should have been home in 3 hours, max. Let's add on another half hour because they had to drive slow because they were pulling a car allegedly via a strap. So let's say 3.5 hours. Let's say they left at 6. So that would be 9 to 9:30. If I'm doing my math in my head correct. Okay. So he says at this interview that Sarah and Brandon immediately went to go help look for Michael. He stayed behind and detached the strap from the car and all that. In this interview, he said that Sarah and Brandon searched till 12:30 a.m. If they got home at 10:15 and they searched till 12:30, that's 2 hours and 15 minutes. In his last interview, he said that they searched for 1 hour. Yeah, I'm going to make a spreadsheet for this Yaya's World. I could literally just take a pretty good photo of my sheet and it might work, and just post that and let somebody else make a spreadsheet because it's a lot. I have, between all of the interviews, there was at least, I'd say 14 hours of information on all of these that I watched. All of it. So I want to discuss Eve's life for just a moment. Although it wasn't a traditional interview, honestly, it was a review kind of interview where she confirmed a lot of information with him. And she also, in this live, went back and played some of the things that Tyler said in the beginning, and she was trying to make sense of some of the timeline as well. And for anybody that's not familiar, I will read a little bit of what Tyler said about the day that he went missing. He said, I went back to change Bug. Michael was playing on his Switch. She was sleeping, so it took a minute for me to rouse her. And then I changed the diaper and ordered pizza. Probably took me 15 minutes, maybe. I came back out and went outside to smoke, and Monkey was not outside, so I figured he was inside with his brother. He went inside. I went inside, and then I started to freak out, and it's all kind of a blur from there. He said he went back to change the baby at 6:30. He also ordered pizza. I believe it was via the app because there wasn't a phone call. It was probably the app. That happened at 6:40. He called Brandi at 7:05. She talked to him on the phone the whole way home. She got home at 7:16. The pizza was actually delivered at 7:15, so virtually at the same time. And then they called 911 at 7:21. So now what's interesting about Eve's live is she speculates that perhaps Michael went missing prior to 4:47 because the older sister had stated that she didn't see him after she got home. I don't know. I have no idea. She's wondering if maybe people are looking in the wrong time, the wrong little block of time. I don't know. Let's see. So again, Michael was last seen walking. I'll show you the map. Is it this one? I think it's this one. He was last seen walking eastbound. This is where they live. He was last seen walking eastbound this way. The splash pad is right here. There was one time in the past where he left and went to the splash pad chasing after his brother. And he did play around the front of his home. And this neighbor reportedly took him back home the night before around the same time. He was out here playing by himself. And they walked him home or watched him go home. I'm not sure. On the 27th, right here, is where Sarah was driving the truck. And they pulled over right here. And this is where Stacy said he got out at the changing times again. Let's see. 6 to 6:15, or could have been 6:15 to 6:30, or it could have been 6:30 to 7. Michael was right here in this area. If you look back at Dad's story, from when he went back to change the baby at 6:30 and ordered the pizza at 6:40, I believe Michael went missing closer to before 6:40, honestly. If he saw Dad go back, hey, he's going to be busy with the baby, I'm going to go outside and play. I think it's possible he just went outside to play closer to 6:30. His dad already had him out of sight at that point, right? So he could have gone missing as early as 6:32, in my opinion. So it could be anywhere between 6:30 and 7. Just my opinion. So, right there is where Stacy admits that they pulled over. He doesn't know the time, but apparently he was shown a video. Sure. And they traveled to Kuna. Let's see. I wanted to point out one thing I saw on one of the photos that he sent of the map. Which one is it here? This one. So, whoever helped him pull this up, right here, you could just click open in maps. If you open up maps, and I'm not going to do it on my phone because it would give out my location. Show how far between what the house and where they were. Let me go back to that real quick for you. So this is where up here, this house right here that I'm circling, I hope you can see my mouse, is where the Wondras lived. This house is it's the corner house, am I right? Yeah, it's this house. This is where the Wonders lived because they had this shared driveway right here. This is the shed. This is the yard. That's where they lived. So to get out, they would have gone this way or this way, whatever. Come down Meadow Lake and this way. So this is where they say where he says they pulled over. If we zoom in on this area, this is where he says that they pulled over. This is where Michael lived. Straight shot. 1, 2, third house. From here to here is a 2-minute walk or a 2-minute drive. 2 minutes. In several of his interviews, he kept mentioning, oh, we didn't even live in the same subdivision. Well, yeah, 8th Street divided. 8th Street is how you get out of the neighborhood. But I also live in kind of the same situation, only mine would be more like, if you flip this upside down, I live around here in my neighborhood. And then there's this street that separates, and then there's another subdivision over here. But we're all in the same neighborhood. We're all in the same neighborhood. So he says that they pulled over here for a couple minutes. He put power steering fluid in it, got back in, and Sarah took off again. That they went this way and left. When they came back, so this is the neighborhood right here. Excuse me, right here. Let me get drink my water. Sorry. Okay, so they would have come down this way, all the way down to Kuna. When they went back, this was a straight shot. He said they didn't stop anywhere, but on the way back, they stopped around here because the tow strap broke and Sarah had to pee. He actually said on the live that she peed and pooed and didn't wipe. It was gross. And then they took this long way back up to Payette. That's Payette, and then straight down to Fruitland. I don't know. Doesn't make sense to me. He said Sarah had never pulled or towed a vehicle before. They suddenly decided to do this. For the first time, she's going to do this at night. And they said that Brandon was in the car behind him, steering it. And I do know from being around a lot of men in my life, my dad, my husband's, blah, 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 that, all blue collar dudes. You don't drive a vehicle if it's losing that much power steering fluid every day. He also changed his story about that a few times. I didn't even keep track, honestly, because in one interview he said that they had to put in power steering fluid every 4 to 5 hours. And then in another interview he said about once a day. And then in another interview he said he would just wait to hear it whining. Like, what? You should not be pulling a vehicle in a vehicle that's got mechanical issues. Duh. So, let me look at my notes here. Hang on. And yeah, I'll go ahead and put all of that in an actual spreadsheet with the links to the lives and the timestamps, because I did write down all of the timestamps for you guys. I just have it in all my notes rather than the little chart. So I'll combine everything into one. And what I will do, because it's easiest for me, is I'll upload it to my Facebook group. So if you're not in the Facebook group, the link is below in the description. Make sure you're a member there. Of course, it's free and all that. And I will put the documents. I'll be able to upload the documents there. Okay? I might be able to tweet them out too. I'll see which one works. So now I'm going to show you just the discrepancies on the ones that I think are most important. The TV doesn't really matter to me. I think it's really weird that he's happened to get kicked out of the motel. Then he was suddenly out of shelter and he was shopping his Cash App all over the place. Shopping it. Oh, before I do that though, let me, where are my Eve notes? Hang on, I gotta find my Eve notes. Here we go. I just want to check and see if there's anything else on this. Okay, we're good. Now, you all know that Brandon did an interview. He has a completely different story from Stacy. He said they were taking him to get his BMW so he could fix it and work for them for their taxi business. He said he has no knowledge of where Stacy was the entire day. He said that they left 6 to 7 p.m. and said Adrian was with them, and that they went to a gas station at 7 p.m. right around the corner from the house, the Chevron. He says that there is proof that they were there at 7 p.m. He said that Sarah was driving and that she talked, when they got back into the neighborhood, she stopped and talked to neighbors that came up to the truck. Stacy insists that it was a police officer. If it was a police officer, there would totally be body cam footage. There's no doubt. Let's see. Stacy did one early news interview right after he got out of jail. He said that he was gone from 1 to 4. He had spent 2 hours with Dave, that they left the house that day between 5:30 and 6 with Sarah and Brandon, and they were home between 9 and 10. That is pretty much what he also said on the first interview with Brooks. He also said that when he got up in the morning on July 28th, that Sarah and Brandon went back to Brandon's mom's house. So, what do you think? Think any of that? Do you think anything that he's saying is true? Out of all the things that I've read, what item sticks out to you as the biggest lie? The very biggest lie that he has said in all of the interviews. For me, the biggest lie is claiming that there's video of him that they showed him. There ain't no way in hell they'd be showing him evidence. There ain't no way in hell. That to me seems like the very biggest lie. Yes, and washing clothes, absolutely. Washing clothes at his mom's that he wasn't even supposed to be at when there was a perfectly good washer and dryer at Stacy's house. Or Sarah's mom's house, whatever. I think that there is some truth in there somewhere. We just got to pick it apart. You figure it out. Like the morning time seems to be very consistent as far as what they did all morning and when Sarah and Brandon originally left, as well as the time that he got that the phone call for his ride. Yeah, the whole thing about what he said about Michael, I mean, I almost can't even say it. Him, let me check my clips here because I'm not sure which clip I got. Hang on. Okay, which one is this? Okay, that's Brandon interview. Just so everybody knows, Ikadmel did pretty much the first YouTube live on Michael, August 1st. And it was very good. I'm sticking the link in the chat. Lady V, love you too. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Thank you, thank you. So yeah, I just wanted to put that in chat so you guys can take a look at that if you want. Sometimes that's really helpful to go very back to the beginning, you know? Okay, let me see. So those things are true. What he said about Michael really, really bothers me, and his interest in that duffel bag, so strange. Lady V, thank you for the super sticker. Oh my goodness, I appreciate that so much. I really do. I made $0 YouTube dollars this last month, not being able to do any lives, so that helps keep everything going. The StreamYard Premium and my programs and the YouTube. Yeah, I appreciate it. So let's do this. I don't need that open at all. So can I open another folder as well at the same time? Let me go here first. Okay, so remember I showed you these that has these photos that say Tuesday, July 21st, and then how it has a date and a timestamp. I'm going to show you what I did. You guys are going to really find this super interesting. You may not even know that you could do this. So I have a photo of a clock that I took. That's this one. Okay. So do you see the photo on this clock or the date and time? Hold on. Why is it doing that? Do you see that it says January 21st, 2024? Yes, I went and bought one of those retro bird clocks and I love it. So I took this photo January 21st at 7:00 p.m. That was literally the exact time and date that I actually took the photo. However, if you notice here, it says edit, just like it does here, edit and edit. Now, the only reason you don't see location on mine is because I have that completely turned off on my photos. The geotagging, I don't like that myself. I'm okay with Google Maps, knowing where I've been and all that, but not on my photos because that's a real big deal. If you upload a photo to social media, somebody can look at the metadata of your photo and see your location. So, hey, Yaya's World, thank you so much for joining. Thank you. I appreciate that so much. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Gotta celebrate. That cute. That's that drummer guy that I love. Okay. So again, welcome. Thank you so much. Your dog. I have my headset on, so my dogs can't hear anything. When this new bird clock goes off, though, every hour, oh, they're not fans of that at all. It's going to take some getting used to. All right, so let me show you what I did. This is the actual photo with the original date and time stamp on it. Doesn't show location because I don't have geotagging on. But if I did, it would be down here. You can edit this. All you would do to edit this part is go open to maps and change your location in there. You can drag your little timeline around, change everything, whatever you want to do. How come the members aren't green? Aren't they? Yeah, she's green. Oh, you mean she's not green in my on my screen maybe, but she's green in chat. Are you a member pointer lover? Yeah, you should be green if you're a member. Okay. So this is the original. I'm going to move it over here. Show you guys what I did. I wish I could just do this live sometime on a live to show you. So if you go into the photo, let me see which order this is in. Okay. So all I did, yeah, I was on this photo. I hit the edit right there, just like it is by the date and timestamp here on Stacey Wondra's photo. You then change it to whatever date you want. That currently said that. This it currently said, and this it currently said. I changed it. Is it this one? I'm sorry. This one. See what I did? I changed it to December 20th, and hit save. And now look. Can you guys see that? This is the original. You can't tell that this has been edited, right? This one said 2024, January 23rd. I don't know why that said the 3rd. Oh, because I saved it as a copy before I did my editing. It was from all you have to do is edit that. So I edited it to be December 20th. And did I save my... Okay, I didn't put my... Hold on, let me go to my email real quick. So I emailed this to somebody to show him that you can do that. You should... So I sent a new photo of my, figure out which one it is here. Hang on. I don't know about you, but I can't talk and think at the same time sometimes. I don't know why Yahoo's not letting me preview the photos. Is it this one? I'm just going to download it and check. Can't see it. Nope, same one. I know I sent her a picture of my whole thing. so weird. Picture. You know your gallery where it shows all your photos? If you go into my gallery now, I don't see it in my sent folder, but anyway, if you go into my gallery now, this photo shows up for January 21st and December 20th. All I would have to do if I wanted to make it look like I actually took this on either date is just delete one. And yes, I know that law enforcement can get in there and see, what's been deleted and moved and renamed and all that. Yes, they can see it. But if you're just some Yahoo sending around screenshots to clear your name, all you have to do is do this. We're not law enforcement, right? No, I think that mods are automatically green, if I'm correct. Or are they blue? So the point is, just because this has this date, Neat Noodle, thank you so much. Just because this has this date and even the location doesn't mean jack shit, honestly. Pointer lover, welcome. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So I wanted to point that out, that seeing if I have any other. I thought that I did one of my gallery, my photo roll thing, but I guess I didn't. It's just so easy to just simply go in and click on edit, put whatever date and whatever time you want. There's the time. And you can edit it. So I don't trust, that's another reason that I don't trust screenshots at all. So be very careful trusting screenshots because you can edit them. I just closed the wrong folder. All right. So I also think it's weird, honestly, that he went and did this. I've covered a lot of missing children, and I've supported missing children in my community and their families. Other than, no, because I was going to say other than the long girl. She wasn't missing. But anyway, so I've never put my profile picture to somebody else's child, ever. Have you? A missing child? That doesn't make sense. Nor, now, Stacy said something interesting about this whole thing. You remember when Sarah was doing all the TikTok videos and you could see the missing poster, which is, my screen's not working with me today. This photo, this one right here. So this poster was behind her in a majority of her TikTok videos. Stacy tried to say that she was doing that and that he had done the profile picture to honor Michael. He said that. That would be great, except she never mentioned Michael in her videos. She just kept making it where that refrigerator was behind her and you could see the poster. But she never said his name. She never once said his name. I want to take a moment to welcome Pointer Lover. Thank you so much for joining. Neat Noodle, thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Trophy. Yes, welcome. Exactly like a trophy. Yep. That's a very sad thought. That's what it felt like to me when I saw all these videos that she was putting out. Lord have mercy. She never mentioned him and she never said his name. In all of these interviews, Stacy kept calling Monkey the kid and the boy. He only said his name like twice when he really had to. Yeah. And he actually said the fucking kid. He did. He actually said that. I didn't know the effing kid. That's what he said. Yeah. I will say that he went on another channel that I will not name because they are scum. Sorry. It is what it is. You know me. I took notes though. Hang on. Okay. So in this, like if you have somebody on as a panel guest, no matter who they are, you should be respectful and you should be requiring your chat to be professional and respectful. And you wouldn't want to bring up all of the ugly things that people are saying about this person in the chat and read them to him. Yeah, that happened. He ended up getting so mad that he left. There were 0 prepared questions in that interview. They were just reading questions from chat. Some were really stupid and it literally only pissed him off. Speaking of literally, he said literally about 1,000 times in his interviews. There was all the talking over, the inappropriate giggling, inappropriate jokes. It was bad. It was bad. So I'm not even going to touch that interview with a 10-foot pole. Just so you know, I did see it. Because I made myself, because I wanted to see if there was anything new in that interview. Because I'm looking for all the little details. There was nothing. Absolutely nothing. So, yeah. That's the one that gave out the location, I kid you not, of a missing girl who was hiding from her very abusive father. After I begged them not to, because he was actively looking for her and she was in danger. They put out the last known location anyway. Ugh, you don't do that. So anyway, let me get back to these other notes here. 1 second. Okay, it's Brooks. Thank you guys so much for putting the channels links for me in chat. I appreciate that. So I have a question for you. What is Stacy's motive, his real motive, for doing this whirlwind tour around YouTube? What do you think it is? Because in looking at all of these discrepancies, I'm trying to figure out what is his message? What is he trying to say? What is he trying to prove? Right? And I'm thinking, tell me what you think. Well, yeah, money for sure. Absolutely. But I'm wondering, is he putting out the story so that the others can hear about it and know what he has said, his story, so that they can take notes and get in line with his story? Do you think? You think maybe he wants the version out there that he wants out there so he can, control the narrative, damage control? That makes sense. Yes, I agree totally, Charlie girl. Yeah, damage control. Exactly. Yes, this not a joking matter at all. I mean, I diffuse hard situations with humor. That's normal, but giggling with a murder suspect? Nah. Nope. And I don't care if he were to appear in my chat and ask to come up. He is not welcome to come on my panel. Period. He couldn't pay me for an interview. Okay? Not happening. I've seen enough. We have all seen enough. I hope his little YouTube tour is done. He just got madder and madder by the end of each interview. He may believe, Misty says, he may believe he can convince everyone he is innocent. Yeah, totally disrespectful to Brandi and her family. I mean, it went on the entire time. I had to watch it just seething. Okay. Now, there was a news clip, I believe it was in December, where the police had said that charges are expected in this case. So, what if he thinks that they're all about to be brought in for questioning? So, he figures that this is his chance to get the story out there. So, maybe they can, so they know what he's going to say and they can either get in line or not. You know what I mean? Uh-huh. Level-headed. Thank you. I'm highlighting that one. Great comment. I think he is pissed that they moved the body while he wasn't home. When that was, I've not figured out yet. He thinks they can't prove it because his real confession was real, but Michael wasn't there. Exactly. Yeah. I think he really thought he was going to lead them to Michael. Because in 2 of the interviews, he happened to mention without anybody asking, that they had offered him, quote, 15 plus 7 years if he would tell them where Michael was. They offered him a deal. 15 plus 7. That's it. Tell us where Michael is. So, fine. He's buried in the backyard, he says. They go and dig, and they did not find him, but cadaver dogs did hit all over the property. All of the cadaver dogs hit all over the property, by the front door, all around the yard. And I mean, this is the part I don't even want to talk about, but it sounds like maybe he was there and moved. And I totally get it. If what if he was, I don't know. I don't even want to go there. I choose to still be hopeful, I can't even let myself. I'm a mom. I'm a grandma. Did I tell you guys I have another grandbaby coming? It's supposed to be the first week of June. My 4th grandbaby will be here. So I'm excited about that. And if anything ever happened to anybody that I knew, there's no way you can just give up hope. I mean, logic tells us things in our mind, and it's really scary and sad, and we kind of know things, but I don't want to really talk about it because I would hate, honestly, for Brandi or any of her family to see it, honestly. I conduct myself in a manner in which I would be okay with a victim or family seeing my content. You know what I mean? So I hope he's out there. I really, really do. And I want him to come home as well. Absolutely precious little boy. Looks so much like my oldest child at about that age. I actually have, I'm showing this to somebody else recently. I'm just going to look real quick. If I can't find it real quick, I'm not going to worry about it. But I had shown somebody a photo of mine about that age. It was so cute. So when I look at this little boy, Michael, I see my babies. Well, I don't have... Okay, well, I'll just show you this one. See? Mine was a little towhead as well. And I don't think I could make it. I can't see how Brandy's doing it. I don't know. You know what I mean? Don't know. But yeah, I have a boy, and I understand boys are precious. Precious, precious, precious. I used to get little love poems written to me. They'd bring me flowers, and it was just, I loved raising little boys. So, you know, Michael should be 7 and at home and just living his life. He should be at home. So one way or another. Thank you. Can I see a lot more of that, please? This one, I love that. He should be at home one way or another. He needs to come home. So, I think I put in my description, you know, hey, if somebody sees this and they know something, say something, because there's a $52,000 reward. That's what it was. I put it on here, and I never showed my banner. $52,000 reward right now. But I'm just going to read it right off my banner. But don't do it for that. Do it so that Michael can be brought home. Period. Take the money. Whatever. But let this little baby go home. Whoever's out there that knows. Somebody knows. I think we know who knows. In these interviews, he gave a lot of extraneous details when they weren't even asked for. And I wondered if that was deflection. Like, when you add on all these extras, there's always a reason that somebody does that. And mainly it was all about stuff that didn't matter, you know, power steering fluid and parts and just stuff that didn't matter. He had plenty to say. But when it came to the timeline and the details surrounding the critical times of the day and evening, he was vague. He didn't know. He wasn't sure. But he was really sure about a lot of things in his timeline. I personally hope that the behaviorist channel, I think it's called the Behavioralist, right? I hope that they get a hold of these interviews and analyze them. But I mean, I really think this, you know, he was recently released, you know, and then December, they come out and say that charges are expected. So he thinks they're all about to be brought in for questioning again and interrogated all over again, right? And I think he's freaking out. I think that's why he did this tour. He wants to look innocent. He thinks he can sway public opinion, but you're not fooling me, buddy. You're just not fooling me. You know, there's a big difference between 25 seconds and 5 minutes, right? Huge difference. 5 minutes of difference. There's a big difference between 12:30 and 1 and 1:30. There's even a difference between 1 and 1:30. The big difference between saying that a child's 6 or 7 and then you couldn't really see them to they were 8, 9, or 10 playing in a yard and then describing their clothing, shorts and a bright shirt. There's a big difference between saying you saw somebody for 15 to 30 minutes and saying that you spent a few hours with them. There's a big difference between stating that you left between 5:30 and 6 and saying that you left between 6:15 to 6:30 and then 6:30 and 7. It's a huge difference between saying somebody had a tiny duffel bag that, quote unquote, not even big enough to fit a human in, to, oh, it was a medium bag. It was a medium bag. Oh, so now it was big enough? Huh, interesting. There's a huge difference between saying that somebody knew the garage code, needed to sneak in, so that's how they did, and that both of them went in, to suddenly, it was only 15 minutes and only Brandon went in, and he went in the back side door. There's and I went past this one, there's a huge difference between saying that nobody knows anything, nobody has any evidence, to, oh, suddenly law enforcement showing me videos of myself at prime locations at vital times. Sure, Stacy. There's a huge difference between saying that you got back between 9 and 10 and then changing it all the way to 10:20. And finally, there's a big difference between basically all of this. I mean, as I'm sitting here looking at this sheet of paper with all these things circled, the ones that have the most circles on them, I think, is the most pivotal information of the entire day. When did he stop at that splash pad? How long was he there? What else? Yeah, he drove right past that landfill, Sassy. He actually gave that information up without even being asked. So on their way back, they drove past the Clay Peak landfill. And I'm telling you, my heart skipped a beat when he said that. So we know what happened to Quentin and how long it took them to find him. And that just, it killed me when he said that. I wanted to jump through my screen because I think that meant something. That was a, a Freudian slip of some kind, saying you drove past a landfill. Mm-hmm. The ones that have the most circles are, again, when he was at the splash pad and how long he was there, the age and appearance of the child that he allegedly saw, what time they left the area to go to Kuna, and then what time they got back. And are those not the most vital points of the day? But he can't get it right, and it's all off within, like 2-hour period, one end to the other, just ranged all over the place. It really makes me sick. He claims that he's out here to clear his name, but he literally just made it worse. And for him to try to back off of his confession, oh, I did it because they were interrogating me and I was just sick of it. I was on the, quote, verge of tears, unquote. You're on the verge of tears, Stacy? You're on the verge of tears? Yeah, okay. This family has been crying, wailing for Michael since July 27th, 2021. But because you were put on the verge of tears, you're going to torture this family more by telling them, oh, he's buried in the backyard. And then, oh, I didn't mean it. It was a lie. Oh, yeah, cadaver dogs were there and they hit, but they didn't really hit. They didn't really hit there. They hit around the general premises, but not exactly where I pointed to. There's one quote I'm going to read you guys. It's going to make you mad. It's going to warn you. It's going to make you mad. It was on Justin's. Okay, here's Dolly's. Justin. Okay. So, in this interview, he said, let me find it. I have this stuff ready, but this one I want to point out, so I got to find it. Okay, so it was after Josh came on at 51 minutes. He also changed his story about even being the person that called in the tip. Said, yeah, I called in the tip. I didn't call. It was while I was being interrogated, forced to confess, basically. Okay, so it says, pretty sure I wrote this down. Maybe I didn't want to write it down. It might have made me too mad. Oh, here it is. At an hour and 11 minutes and 23 seconds, he says, the dogs may have hit in the backyard, but the direction, the area that I pointed to them, the dogs didn't hit around that. Okay. Who cares? They hit in the yard where you said he was. So maybe he was moved around a lot. That make you mad? I mean, if you were in my small hometown, dude, Stacy, we'd be at your house with pitchforks. Just the way we roll in the country. You don't do this kind of stuff to kids and their families. So there is a lot in the interviews. Again, I only went over the discrepancies, the things that were different from interview to interview to interview to interview to interview to interview. 6 total. I really hope that whoever donated to him feels like it was worth it. I wouldn't give him a red cent. Think I'm going to go because I am irritated now. And I'm just going to go chill out, watch a movie or something, go to bed. Because I'm irritated. There's no reason for these 4 psychopaths to be lying right now. They need to tell where Michael is. They know. They need to speak up. Let it be known. Let this baby come home. I think I put in my description. Let's compare and go over all these contradictions from this YouTube tour he's been on since January 8th. Which statements are lies? Which could be truthful? What's the real timeline? Let's see. I said there are important details that are noteworthy, and sometimes it's not what someone says, it's what they don't say, along with their inappropriate jokes and extra details. Everybody wants to know, where is Michael Monkey Vaughan? Stacy needs to explain these discrepancies, and if he really wanted to help, he would just tell the full truth. Because Brandi and Tyler and their children miss Michael, and they want him home. If not Stacy, then somebody needs to tell the truth. The whole truth and nothing but the truth, period. That simple. Just pick up the damn phone, call the number 208-642-6006, right there for you, buddy. Call it. Just tell them the truth, please. We really do want Michael to come home. We don't give a crap what happens to you. Take your 15 plus 7 years, shove it up your butt, let this baby go home. I'm done. I'm starting to blabber now, y'all. I'm starting to ramble because I'm mad. So I'm going to go. Thank you so much for being here with me. Again, lastly, I will put all of this into a spreadsheet with the links in the timeline, the links and the timestamps for each live that he did with Brooks and Dolly and Justin for all. I'll put that all together and I'll upload it to the group, to the Facebook group. So go in the description to the link to the group and join. It's private. I don't care who you are. Don't have to tell me your YouTube name or anything like that. I respect people's privacy. You don't have to say, hey, my real name's Yolanda, but I'm Yaya's World. I'm not like that. Some YouTube channels want that information, but why? I don't get it. It's nobody's business. It's not mine. You know what I mean? So join over at the Facebook group, and I'll put these documents in there, and like I've been doing with the other case documents as I get them. So you guys have a lovely evening. Thank you so much for being here tonight. I really appreciate you. Thank you again for my new members. I love you guys. And have a lovely night. Thank you.